Hey guys, it's your boy Haminations. Today we're gonna be reacting to uh Hamilton's More Pain. So make sure I like, subscribe to the notifications if there's any news. Yeah, let's start. Make sure everything working. Everything.
I think I lost him. Hey, I'm doing my first ever live show, and you're invited. There's gonna be drawing games, card games, jokes, and alleged felonies. So be sure to sign up before it's too late. Uh-oh.
He escaped! Get that little freak!
I'm not going back to jail! Whoa there, let's not be hasty. It's me, your conscience. This ain't safe. Sledding down the stairs in a cardboard box is a recipe for disaster. Hi, I'm Bryson, and like most of you, my essence currently resides in a corporeal form known as my body.
What do you mean, most of us?
Well, I didn't want to offend any ghouls, apparitions, or other ascended individuals who might be watching. The point is, I feel pain, and I can prove it. Ow. And if I've learned anything from my time here, it's that the internet was made for schadenfreude.
What's schadenfreude?
Well, it's kinda like...
Okay.
So, considering how many epic fail videos I've watched, I've decided to give back to the community by telling you all about my most painful experiences. Pay it forward, you know? Let's start with the ones that happened when I was young. There I was, sitting in the tub when I looked over and saw Dad's razor.
I feel like maybe I should touch that.
Thought little me. And I went through the motions I had seen my dad do when he shaved his face. As you might suspect, small children and razor blades aren't a great mix. I cut myself up pretty badly and had to have a band-aid on my upper lip. It made it way harder to eat my tomato soup with fishy crackers, which was the real tragedy, let's be honest. Contrary to how I portray myself in my videos, I'm a very non-violent, go-with-the-flow kind of person, with one exception. Here it comes! But there was one other time when I wanted to solve my problems using a good old-fashioned knuckle sandwich. Braden had been teasing me and pushing my buttons all day in classic Braden fashion. I guess it was worse than the usual teasing because after a while, something in me snapped, and I decided the time for talk was over and that I would let my fist do the talking instead. I walked across the yard, fist clenched, ready to dole out some justice. My heart was pounding. It was time for Braden to pay for his crimes. I guess God saw what I was about to do and said,
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So, for the time being, Braden was safe from me. But, as you'll see later, that wouldn't last forever. Speaking of brotherly shenanigans, jumping on the trampoline with my brothers was always really fun. We would play Dead Man, have water balloon fights, and do flips. And to make things extra thrilling, they could double bounce me way higher than I could jump if I was alone. But of course, they decided to bounce me higher and higher.
Bounce him higher, together. 1, 2, 3.
And I learned my lesson and never got hurt on a trampoline again. I asked my friends to teach me how to do a backflip on their trampoline. It's kind of like a front flip, but, the other way. Okay. Enough talk. I got this.
What is going on here?
I landed right on my head, and my friends legitimately thought I had died. Somehow I was fine, though, and that same day I was able to land a backflip. Little kids seem to be able to just walk away from what would have been a life-threatening injury for an adult. They're too wiggly and slippery for death to get a firm grasp on. If I landed on my head like that today, it would probably be like...
multiple torn ligaments, severe nerve damage.
Now it's time for the worst pain I experienced as a child. We were at an indoor pool about to go home. Braden opened the door and left the building, and I was right behind him. But I stopped to look back to ensure my parents were with us. And while I looked away, the door closed on my foot and ripped my big toenail completely off. Imagine just trying to walk out a door like a normal person and the door curses you with -10 foot armor for a year. That's right, it took a year to grow back. Now imagine trying to put socks on a toenail-less toe. Instead of having armor, it's just nerve endings and despair. It sucks. Long story short, I think this is why I'm an avid flip-flop man. Now we're moving on to my more recent painful experiences. I was walking Bo to a dog park near my house. We made it to the parking lot and got a running start to jump over the divider like we always do. But I guess I wasn't locked in because my foot caught the divider and I biffed it onto the asphalt. I got up and made sure no one saw me eat it, and then realized my knee was scuffed up and bleeding. But we were already right there. Bo wanted to play with the other dogs. I wasn't gonna go all the way home without letting him play, so I just stood there watching him play while actively bleeding. Hey, are you okay? You're bleeding. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Please stop looking at me. Can we talk about how embarrassing it is to bleed? It's so dramatic. It didn't hurt that bad. Stop crying. I don't want these strangers to know that I bleed. Blood is the body showing weakness. Now everyone knows I'm an easy target. On that note, I didn't realize how much head wounds bleed. One time, I was picking something up in my parents' utility closet, and when I stood up, my head slammed into the fuse box door. The wound itself was tiny, but it bled so much. I think it's because a lot of people keep some important stuff in their heads, and they need blood for that. But for me, it's kind of just empty space, and this little guy. Seeing how small my brain is might explain this next story. I had recently bought some new jeans, and I was taking the stickers and tags off of them. I pulled the cardboard label thing off the belt line of the jeans and noticed that the white threads they used to hold the cardboard on were still in the pants. So I decided that I would cut them off using a butter knife. I have since learned a lasting lesson about why dull knives are actually more dangerous than sharp knives because they need more force to cut things, which means there's a greater chance of... well, that. But when I was choosing which knife to use, my brain said, big sharp knife, cut dangerous. Small dull knife, less cut dangerous. So I grabbed the butter knife and got it between the threads, but it wasn't cutting. So I applied more force, the thread snapped, I lost control of the knife, and sliced my index finger. It immediately started gushing blood. It was a deep cut. I wrapped it up with gauze and tape, and then, in the classic male fashion, I thought to myself, wow, that was a deep cut, and it hurts. I'm gonna ignore it for some reason. Like a man. And then I went about my day. Hours later, I visited Brody and Jen to play Mario Party, and they noticed the bandage on my finger. They made me unwrap the gauze to reveal that the cut was still oozing blood.
You should go to the hospital.
Nah.
We're taking you to the hospital.
The numbing shot hurt so bad because the doctor pinched my finger, opened up the wound, and stuck the needle right up in there. But then I couldn't feel a thing, and he stitched me up. And I've got a cool scar on my finger now. And just recently, Brody got a matching scar due to a pumpkin carving mishap. And that's not the only time my finger has been hurt. I was visiting a petting zoo with my sister's family, and they gave us each a cup of animal pellets. Some llamas saw that I had food, and they came up to the fence to ask for some. I saw some people pouring the food into their hands and letting the llamas eat right off their hands, but that seemed kinda nasty to me. So I decided to hold out the cup and let the llama eat from there. But the llama lunged and bit the cup and started tugging repeatedly to try and get me to let go of the cup. But I couldn't let go because he also had my finger in his bite. Dude, let go, I'm hungry. I can't! I eventually broke free from his grasp, but he successfully got all the food I had. Now I had no food to give to the capybaras, and he learned that he could just bite people to get what he wants. Maybe I should take notes. I went to the aviary to forget my woes, but in classic Bryson fashion, I was wearing flip-flops, and the birds thought my toes were food, and they all started biting my feet. I even had a scab on my foot, and they ripped it off. I thought I was supposed to feed the animals, not get fed on. Let's see how you like it. Now, I've told you about my young pain and my recent pain, but there's one more category I've yet to tell you about. A startling amount of my pain took place on our seemingly innocent summertime family lake trips. My earliest boating memory was at a big family reunion. Timid little Bryson was fine just sitting in the boat, but Dad encouraged me to try wakeboarding.
Come on, it's easy. You just hang on, it'll be fun.
Okay, Dad, I trust you, I thought ignorantly. He strapped me in and tossed me in the lake. Hit it! I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Then the front edge of the board caught the water. In an instant, the insides of my sinuses and mouth became one with the lake. Not a great feeling. And that's the last time I ever wakeboarded. The risk that at any moment I could faceplant on the surface of the water at 20 miles per hour wasn't worth it to me. Next, I tried tubing, a much safer option. The concept of tubing is so hilarious to me. Whoever came up with this idea is an absolute mad lad. You tie a rope between the tube and a motorboat, hop on, and hang on for dear life. No red flags there. My mom, brothers, and I got on a big tube and were having the time of our lives. But then we saw a huge wave heading towards us. It launched us into the air, and the bottom of the tube caught the wind, and the tube started flying. My mom seriously did a cartwheel on the surface of the water. Needless to say, she has since lost her taste for tubing. I, however, was just getting started. Despite the pain of wiping out, the adrenaline of trying not to die while going over bumps and being whipped side to side was too intoxicating to ignore. And like a middle schooler after a bad breakup, I was ready to be hurt again. Me and my brothers were on the tube having the time of our lives when Mom turned a bit too sharply one way, then the other. The rope caught a bunch of slack and the tube slowed down. But the boat was still going, and I knew that the rope was about to gain tension and whiplash us. I sped ran the stages of grief in my mind and braced for the inevitable. The tube went from stationary to top speed in an instant. Our bodies couldn't keep up and it whipped out from under us. But that didn't stop me. After a long day of tubing, everyone was tired and wanted to go home. But I wasn't done riding that adrenaline high.
Come on, let me go again. I just need one final hit and then I'll be satisfied. I just need a fix, bro. Please, come on, please.
Since no
Old Spice Strider's long-lasting freshness makes me smell good, so Coach thinks I'm slacking.
If you're working hard, how do you smell so fresh?
So I trained.
Since no one wanted to join me, Brody's then girlfriend, now wife, Jen, decided to throw me a bone and join me for one last ride.
Today has been so fun. I love getting to know you all better. I think I really like your brother.
Give it time. We hit a massive wave and got sent flying, and Jen accidentally pile drove the back of my head. As I crashed into the water, all I could think was, "Stay awake! Stay awake! Don't fall asleep in the water, you'll die!" Fortunately, I was okay and conscious, despite the pain.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Are you okay?
It feels like an ice pick is being shoved into the back of my head, and I probably have a concussion. Anyway, one more ride? Who's with me? Huh? After Jen assaulted me like that, I knew she would fit right in with the rest of my family. Plus, Brody watching his girlfriend land a critical hit on his annoying little brother probably helped seal the deal. Now, as we've established, Brayden is a mischievous lad who loves dunking on me. I think I just have a punchable face or something, because usually his crimes against me are unprovoked. He once offered to take me on a ride on a jet ski. How nice of him, I thought to myself ignorantly. He then turned as sharp as he could without warning and skipped my body across the water. And he brought that same energy to tubing with me. I would be sitting there minding my business and he would throw me off the tube. I kind of just resigned myself to it because Brayden was always stronger than me. But he kept tossing me in the water every boating trip, and that caused a spark to ignite inside my soul. The next boating trip we went on, me and Brayden got in a tube together.
Hey, sorry about always pushing you in the water. Let's call a truce.
Well, sure, I said. Then, as the tube whipped out to the side, I wedged my shoulders into the corner of the seat and pushed on him with my legs.
Wait, stop! I thought we had a truce!
The bill comes due.
This was the first time I had ever overpowered Braden. It was intoxicating. I guess not skipping leg day paid off. There, now we're even, I said as I helped him back into the boat.
Okay, I believe you.
Braden thought to himself ignorantly. Later, me, Dad, and Braden were on the tube and I saw a big wave coming up. And a plan formed. I braced myself, and right as we hit the bump, in the moment where Dad and Braden were weightless in the air, I kicked Dad into Braden, sending them both into the water. Me and Braden have since put the rivalry behind us and recently enjoyed a nice wake surfing trip without incident. See? It never ends! Don't worry though, I got him back. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this epic compilation of my worst pain ever. I sure didn't. But I've learned something about life in the process, and I've come to agree with this theory I heard on life. The theory is this: tragedy plus time equals comedy. And I can prove it. Trust me, kid, in a few years, this is gonna be hilarious. Just give it time. Hey, it's me, your favorite Bryson.
Hopefully you enjoyed today's video.